Greenville Lions are without Andrew Tarrant, who has a broken collarbone after the mishap last week. And so special teams is going to be critical for the Greenville Lions, and getting extra points and field goals is going to be an adventure perhaps at best, if even attempted at all.
Yeah, and the Lions just have to take care of the football, Rich. We've been saying that all year. They have to take care of the football, avoid the turnovers, plus-minus ratio, and if they do that, I certainly feel like that they have a chance against the reigning state champ Scots.
Highland Park has already made it out onto the field wearing their blue stockings and their gold pants with the wide blue stripes up the side, and the blue jerseys with the gold numerals and the solid blue helmets. Greenville Lions now coming out onto the field in their red stockings, their red pants, their white jerseys with the, thank goodness, the easy-to-read red numerals, and the red helmets with the Georgia G on either side of the helmet. Now the captains are going to come together at center field, and they'll have the toss of the coin, and we'll see who's going to receive the opening kickoff. And I'm thinking that Greenville's probably not going to want to kick off, I'm guessing.
Although by statistics, 70% of the time you get the ball first, you do not score. So some of the coaches go by those statistics. A coach that's near and dear to my heart always, even though he wins the coin toss, will always go on defense to start out because of the statistic alone. So we'll see how it turns out tonight.
Referee has brought the two sets of captains together. Greenville, of course, is going to be sitting on the far side. We have one captain from the Greenville side that is late joining the huddle. Hope he won from special teams.
I believe he was. That was number 58. Zipping under, well, it was Ubaldo Ramos.
Holding up the coin. Here comes the toss. Up into the air. The referee actually caught it.
He got
the toss. And put it on the back of his hand, and let's see. Usually they learned, and now they just let it hit the ground. But he didn't let it hit the ground.
I think the Lions got the ball because we're talking to him right now.
Let's see here. He taps the Greenville Lions on the shoulders. They will kick off to start the ball game, and Highland Park will receive the ball. Lions will be kicking from our left to right, which means the wind will be at the Lions' back to start the first quarter of play, and when we get this ball game underway. We will take a timeout, then we will be back with the kickoff of tonight's game between the Greenville Lions and the Scots of Highland Park when Greenville Lions football continues in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Highlander Stadium. Trying to get situated here. Whoops, I'm sorry. We're in very tight quarters here. It was fun for a second there, buddy. Hey! I thought it was Earl, but I wasn't sure. I had to check.
Yeah, you know how those Aggies are.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to check it right off.
Yeah, this is probably the tightest operation we ran in a while. Except for, what was that, over in Carrollton a number of years ago, we sat outside and watched the football game. But this
that's when we played South Oak Cliff.
South Oak Cliff.
Yeah, in Seagoville.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We had a lot of technical problems that night, and actually were able to work through those.
Absolutely.
And we were able to get the game done because Earl had done such a great job with the stats. Yeah. That was absolutely amazing.
We filled in after the fact.
And you missed a flight that night.
I did. Well, you don't remind me. One and only in 23 years. Oh, what's a day? What's 24 hours?
Well, 100 years from now, who will care?
I know. What's a day?
Yeah. Here come the Greenville Lions to kick off. Oscar Lloyd is kicking off for the Greenville Lions. The Highland Park Scots apparently not expecting much, and it is a short kick that comes over to the near side and out of bounds at about the 33-yard line of Highland Park.
Penalty marker down.
Penalty marker, where are you seeing it, Earl?
Number 16 kicked off.
Number 16 picked it up?
Kicked off.
Oh.
No, 16.
Oh, it was number 16 kicked off. It looked like Oscar was going to kick it off.
Oscar, but that was just kind of we don't have a 16 on the roster. Maybe it was Shane Gray, number 15, so. We're discussing on the sideline to see if we want to kick over. I think they're probably going to take it from the 32-yard line, and they're going to give them 5 yards.
Oh, I'd have them kick it off again.
I'd have them
and that's what they're going to do.
Yep.
And so Highland Park will back up again, back deep for the Highland Park Scots is Alex Carroll, who is one of the captains. He is joined back there by number 88, Drew Cohen, who's in the middle. And then flanked to the near side, I think that's Seth Gardner, number 86.
It's either 36
I believe who
or
it is.
86. It's 86. So the Lions are going to kick off from the 35-yard line after the 5-yard penalty. Number 16, who is not on our roster, is back to kick off.
Yeah, it is number 16, and we're just going to call him 16 for lack of a better description. We may have to check with David Claiborne, and maybe he was able to pick up on the change. Who's? Chase Martin. That's from last year, wasn't it?
That's last year.
Here is the kickoff. Another short pop over, knocked down to the ground at the 55, down at the 40. What 55? Listen to me. At the 43, a scramble for the ball. Greenville is claiming that they came up with it. The officials have made no indication yet. And Highland Park has won the scrum at the bottom of the stack.
Well, the ball was really out there, and all the Lions had to come down here, and all they had to do is just come down here and jump on the football, and they were standing around, and they could have had a huge turnover right there at the beginning of the game. The Lions did what they wanted to do, Rich. They wanted to come down here and hit the lineman in the hands. They did. He dropped the ball, but the scrum underneath, the Lions didn't get it.
Ryan Rumpf was the kicker.
We got our technical difficulties somewhat taken care of. Full house backfield, Rich.
Spread offense with twins to the far side, one receiver to the near side. Handoff, no play action. Throwing deep over the middle, incomplete, overthrew the intended receiver. Looking for the receiver back up at the Greenville 35 and threw the ball down to about the Greenville 26 or 7.
Yeah, he was trying to hit Will Harris on a play action fake there across the middle, and number 5 out there, Raymond Payton, was right on top of it and overthrew him actually.
Will Webb is the quarterback and has done a terrific job. Thrown about 16 touchdown passes, thrown for over 1,000 yards this year. Flanked on either side by running backs, twins to the far side, one to the near side. Does hand off to the right, and he is knocked down at about the 46-yard line. A gain of about 3 on the play for Highland Park will bring up third down, a gain of 2, Earl corrects me.
And Ryan Fanning from his left halfback position just got the ball from the quarterback and he tried to go over the right offensive tackle, and they picked up about 2.5. It's 3rd and 8.
Fanning stands on this side. Alex Carroll is to the far side. They're moving right to left. William Webb throws to the far side of the field in front of the Greenville Lion bench for a first down. Ross Bolin with the reception gets the first down for Highland Park.
And they just ran an out pattern over to Ross Bolin, and you can see where their training and discipline on the patterns. He made the corner, and the quarterback, number 12, William Webb, just delivered it right there for the first down, Rich.
Here come the Scots, 1st and 10 at the Greenville 45-yard line. Handoff comes to the near side, spinning, and then down to the 40-yard line goes the running back for Highland Park, number 34, Alex Carroll.
Yeah, he's met by number 40, Mark Mosby, from his defensive line position. I believe number 70, Justin Davis, was in there also to help on the stop. Gain of about 4.5 yards.
Now, was it just me not paying attention all the way through, Coach, or was Alex Carroll running straight up, never put his head down?
Alex, he's running straight up, and he can get popped real hard if he doesn't get his head down a little bit.
Webb wants to throw, looking deep over the near side, intercepted at the 15-yard line. Coming down the near side is Payton, and tackled out of bounds at the 28-yard line with no penalty marker. They'll mark it at the 25-yard line, 1st and 10 for Greenville.
Raymond Payton did an outstanding job of just standing his ground. He looked at the quarterback's eyes. The ball came in his direction. He went up with the receiver and took it away from the receiver. It looked like he was a jump ball in basketball, but he came down with it, and we're going the opposite direction. Big stop of the Lions.
1st and 10 for the Greenville Lions now as they force a turnover. Casey Ludford at quarterback. Oscar Lloyd standing to his left. The Lions moving left to right. Twins to either side. Handoff going to the far side on the end around to Kevin Heath, and they got maybe 3 inches on that play.
I think they lost about 1.5 yards. They're trying to run from his left flanker position across the field and run a little bit of an option through there, and the Scots are too disciplined to fall for that, Rich. They're standing there ready for him, and he lost, he's looks like he might be right at the line of scrimmage.
No score in the game with 10:07 to play first quarter. Casey Ludford from the shotgun. Sends him back in motion to the near side. Hands off inside. And no gain on the play. Oscar Lloyd was the running back.
Yeah, and Oscar was just trying to run the option right straight through the middle, and he gets stopped right in the middle of the line of scrimmage. There's not a whole lot of blocking going on right there so far.
And there's a whole lot of pushing and shoving coming in there by the defensive line, and
a whole lot of extraneous pushing once the whistle is blown too. But you got to realize we're at Scott Stadium.
Yep.
Things are different here.
Ludford from the shotgun, only person in the backfield. Pass incomplete, intended for Stanton on a crossing route at the 35.
Might have been a little bit high for number 32, Ronnie Stanton, but certainly a catchable ball, and not a great lot of effort on that catch at that point in time.
Yeah, it looked like it was a little spicy too.
Yep. Ludford's back in the punt. Well, it's 3rd and 10.
No, it's 4th down. Yeah, Ludford is apparently going to go for it on 4th down, and why not? They have trips packaged to the near side, trips to the far side. They got 3 linemen. They've got Highland Park scattered all over the field. Lions need to go about 10 yards to get a first down, and Ludford does punt it. Carroll comes up and makes the catch and heads for the right side of the field. Now cuts back upfield and has his legs cut out from under him by Eric Johnson at about the 46-yard line.
Yeah, Eric did a great job of making the stop there. He was the last one between him and the Edwards and the goal line, so stopped him for only about a 10-yard pickup on that short punt from Casey Ludford.
Well, I'm really disappointed in Alex Carroll for Highland Park. I really thought he was going to be an impressive running back. And he runs with a lot of power, but he just stands straight up.
Yep, stands straight up, and there's not a lot of movement through some big holes in the line.
1st and 10 for Highland Park as they're able to dodge the bullet, if you will. Hand off to Carroll. He goes over the left side. Gets about 5 or 6 yards down to the 42-yard line.
Obviously, good blocking through the middle of the line. They're big and strong through there, and they just try to punch the ball straight at you. Mark Mosby and number 70, Justin Davis, were in on the tackle. He picked up about 3.5 to 4 yards, but like you said, Rich, he's not the fastest back in the world. He just has the holes, and he runs straight through the play.
Twins to the far side, one receiver to the near side. No score in the game. Rolling left is Webb, throws it, caught at the 38-yard line. And he's tackled at about the 33-yard line, going to be close to a first down.
Yeah, he's wide open on that play. He just sprinted to the left side and picked up about 7-8 yards for the first down.
William Lawson with the catch. No score in the game. 8:27 to play here in the first quarter. Ball is at the Greenville 32, and they did give a first down to Highland Park. Ball on the near hash mark. They're moving right to left. Carroll gets popped hard by Justin Davis and then knocked backwards.
Yeah, Justin Davis, Nick Spigner, and Mark Mosby just filled that hole that he was coming through. And like you said, he runs straight up, and once you get him a runner that's straight up like that, he's not going to spin, he's not going to do anything with you, and they pushed him back for about a 2.5-yard loss, Rich. Good defensive effort there by the center of the defensive line.
2nd and 12 for Highland Park at about the Greenville 34-yard line. Webb chunks it out near side. Caught. Down to the 30, down to the 25. the 24-yard line. Just poor tackling on the part of the Lions defense that time, as Lawson is able to come up with a catch.
Yeah, Lawson came up with a catch, but Shane Gray was standing right there about 7 yards prior to that, and he just didn't even try to put a tackle on. All he did, stuck his arm out, and Lawson, who was a strong wide receiver, just pulled it for another about 4.5 to 5 yards.
3rd and 2 for Highland Park. Put the ball down at about the Greenville 23, maybe the 24-yard line. Hand off to Carroll, and falls down at the 21-yard line. That should be enough for a first down for Highland Park at the Greenville 21.
Yeah, they're running that trap play right off the left tackle, and he steps in right behind the fullback, who is number 44 for the Scots, Ryan Fanning, and he steps in there, gives him a good block, and he picks up the first down.
No score in the game with 7:03 to play here in the first quarter. Highland Park with a 1st and 10 at the Greenville 20. Webb wants to throw, looking into the end zone, and it is batted away in the end zone. Great defensive play. Looks like Curtis Johnson coming up and batting it away and out of the hands of Seth Gardner.
Yeah, Curtis Johnson did a great job. Was right in position as he made that cut move towards the post. And I thought maybe Curtis might have a hard time going on the jump ball with a much taller individual, but Curtis knocked it down, and good defensive play.
Well, Webb didn't put it up high enough.
No.
He put it about helmet high, and that was high enough for Curtis to get up there and get in front of it. From the shotgun, Webb, play action. Looking left, throwing left towards the corner. Caught, dropped, raked out of the hands, it looked like, by Peyton.
I could have caught it.
Yeah, Peyton was right there, and he was pretty much wide open. That was number 44 from his left halfback position, Ryan Fanning. The ball was right on the numbers, and he dropped it.
Yeah, Earl said he could have caught that.
Well, I think that might be true.
3rd and 10 for Highland Park from the Greenville 20.
Holt Redwine into the ball game.
6:46 to play, first quarter. Webb from the shotgun pulls up, looks to the sideline. Now back to the line of scrimmage, trips to the far side. Coming to the left on the run. Pitches at the last second to Carroll. Carroll tries to dart inside and goes down at the 16-yard line. Not enough for a first down by about 4 yards. It'll bring up 4th and about 4.
An extremely dangerous pitch on the option play that time, and Carroll was way wide on the option. He was able to get the ball over to him, and once he got the ball, he didn't pick up too much on it. It's 4th and about 5.5.
And Highland Park is going for it on 4th down. Webb rolling right, throwing right, caught right, inside the 5-yard line for the first down. Gardner coming up with a catch.
Yeah, it's obviously was that number 89 Ross Bolin. Either way.
Yeah, you're right. It's 89.
They obviously run that pattern. That's their bread and butter, 4th or short yardage play, Rich. They did that on 3rd and yardage earlier in the game, and he just runs a square out, real good pattern, and he drops the ball right in his hands for the first down.
Webb from the shotgun, hands off inside. Coming to the near side, turning to the 5 is Carroll, and then Carroll is knocked down at about the 3-yard line.
Well, there's one thing these Highland Park Scots are not going to do, and they're not going to run the full distance of that line of scrimmage and get out ahead of these Greenville Lions. They might be a little bit better disciplined, but they certainly are not faster or quicker than the Greenville Lions, Rich.
2nd and 4, 2nd and goal, perhaps I should say, for the Highland Park Scots. 2nd and 3, Earl corrects me. Twins to the right, handoff inside, still struggling at the 2-yard line, and then finally going down is Ryan Fanning.
Yeah, Ryan Fanning from his left halfback position. They run in the full house backfield back there, and they just will turn left or right and run and dive right over the right tackle or guard, which they consider their strength off the right side of the line. And he picked up about 2.5 to the 1.5 yard line, Rich. 3rd and a yard and a half.
Twins to the far side, one receiver to the near side. Hand off to Carroll, skips into the end zone, touchdown Highland Park.
Yeah, same play, opposite direction to a different ball player, and he just skips right over picks up a yard and a half. That's all he needed for the touchdown, Rich. 4:57 left in the first quarter. Scott's up 6-0 on the Greenville Lions. they're running the swinging gate.
Yep, the old swinging gate play. Now they come back and bring the quarterback back into the ball game. They'll set that quarterback, take him out. They bring in the kicker to try for the PAT. Brett Krause is the right-footed kicker, waiting on the snap. It's down, and the kick is up, and it's good. Highland Park takes a 7-0 lead over the Greenville Lions with 4:57 to play in the first quarter. We'll be back when Greenville Lions football continues in a moment. 7-0, Highland Park leads it now with 4:57 to play in the first quarter. Alex Carroll with a 1-yard touchdown run. They took 12 plays to go 46 yards in 4 minutes and 12 seconds. And Krause is on to kick off. I'm sorry, it's not Krause who's going to be kicking off. This is a different kicker. This is number 37, Matt Bonanno. And back deep for the Lions is Peyton, number 5. Here comes the approach. Bounces at the 2-yard line, picked up by Peyton at the 1. Comes to the near side with penalty markers flying. Peyton gets across the 25 and goes down there.
Yeah, they threw the flag on a bad call. The guy didn't even see he saw the result of the block, which came. He looked at it after it occurred. The guy hit him right in the numbers in his front numbers. I was looking straight at it, and the referee throws a flag, and it's going to pin the Lions way deep in their own end of the field. But terrible call by the referee. He didn't even see the play.
Yeah, because it'll come from the spot of the foul on the return.
Yeah, it spotted the foul. The coaching staff standing right there. They're screaming at it. It was a great block, and he just blew it bad. Looking right straight at it.
4:48 to play here in the first quarter. Greenville trailing at 7-0. Lions have the ball inside their own 10-yard line. Right at about the 9-yard line on the near hash mark. Greenville moving left to right. Casey Ledford in a quarterback. Lloyd standing to his left, which is to the far side. Heath comes in motion. They give it to Lloyd. Lloyd squirts out. Got an opening at the 30. Cuts to the near sideline at the 40. At the 50, it's a foot race now at the 30. He's at the 20. 10, 5. Touchdown, Eric Johnson.
Eric Johnson came from his halfback position, and they ran an option. He got one blocker in front of him. The blocker stayed in front of him until he got deep into the secondary, and then he picked up a block on the defensive back. As he hit the defensive back, he hit another on the back, knocked him down, and it was, like Rich said, foot race to the end zone, and we got a ball game here.
Casey Ledford on as they look at the potential 2-point opportunity, and now he will run off of the field. And Mr. Rumpf will come on to try for the PAT. Marty Almanza will hold.
Rumpf is up from the JVs. That's what the coach said this year.
It's down. The kick is up.
And it's good.
And it is perfect, and the Lions have tied it up 7-7 with 4:34 to play here in the first quarter. And we'll be back when Greenville Lions football continues in a moment. Welcome back to Highland Park, Highlander Stadium. Eric Johnson with a 98-yard run for a touchdown. Left Highland Park in a cloud of dust.
Yeah, the Lions are obviously much quicker and much faster than this Highland Park team, and if they can take advantage of their speed out there and use it to their advantage, they're in this ball game.
Yeah, once he broke into the secondary, it was over.
Yep.
Here's Rump's kick. Gets a nice one off. Going to be taken at the 10-yard line, straight up the middle of the field. Blockers there. Comes to the 40. Tackled at the 44-yard line. On the return is Ross Bolin for the Scots.
And Raymond Payton was playing his safety position right about at the 43, 44-yard line. Picked up and did a nice job of making the tackle. He was the last man between him and the goal line, Rich. It's not a real deep kick, and you take it you take the risk of getting it short, and they ran the wedge right up the middle and stuck together real well as the blockers, and he picked up the good yardage on the kickoff.
Yeah, because the coverage team didn't have time to get out.
No.
First and 10 for Highland Park at their 44. Back to pass is Webb. Will shovel pass inside to Carroll. Comes to the near side with a stiff arm. Tries another one. And Justin Davis just buries him at the 48-yard line.
Yeah, he can stand there and try to stiff arm number 15, Shane Gray, all day long. But I'll tell you one thing. Justin Davis came over and put the hurts on him.
Yep, he hit him from behind and then kind of buried his face mask in the artificial turf.
That's what you call a pancake tackle right there.
Second and 6 for the Scots at their 48-yard line. From the shotgun is Webb. Wants to throw and play action. Tosses it out right side. Caught at the 48 of Greenville. And then tackled at the 47, right at the 48 of Greenville, and not enough for a first down.
Ray Payton was standing there again. Great job on defense. He was also helped. I think Marty Almanza was over there helping him out on the tackle.
Rusty Bratton with the reception for the Highland Park Scots. Undefeated, run 23 straight games.
There's nothing flashy about these Scots, folks. What they try to do is just run their precision offense to the best of their ability, and right now they are up against a pretty good defense.
Execution. Third and a short 3. Fanning has got the first down and a little bit more to go with it as he gets down to the Greenville 42-yard line for the first down for Highland Park.
Yeah, Fanning stepped from his left halfback position, went down the line to the right side of the line, found a hole between the guard and the tackle, stepped through, and he was through there before Nick Spigner could come up and put the stop on him and had picked up the first down.
3:05 to play. First quarter, clock rolling, 7-7. Nice crowd here from Greenville tonight. Made the trip over. Found University Park in the heart of Dallas. Webb from the shotgun wants to throw. Looking deep down the far sideline. Got a receiver. And he is out of bounds at the Greenville 16-yard line. And coming up with a reception was Ross Bolin.
Yeah, Ross Bolin obviously is his favorite receiver. And when he gets the ball close to him, he will make the catch. And I'm trying to figure out who was back there. There was that Ray Payton or Curtis Johnson was over there defending. I think it's Curtis, looks like the number. And Curtis is just outsized on that side of the line.
And he had a good lead on him down the far sideline because he was just on a fly pattern.
Yeah, he delivers a nice football out there. Gets it out there in precise patterns.
From the shotgun is Webb. Hands it off to Carroll. He hurdles the line of scrimmage and then falls forward to about the Greenville 12 or 13-yard line. A gain of 3, maybe 4 at the max.
And they're trying to run right over their big line in the middle of the field over 72, 73, 74. And he just finds a hole and falls forward, and he picks up 4 yards, Rich. Nothing fancy about this Highland Park team.
Excuse me.
Some passing, but nothing too special.
Second and 7. Webb from the shotgun gives it to Fanning, trying to find a hole in the line, and gets hammered back. Pierce McIntyre was the first one to get a hold of him, and then the rest of the Lions' white jerseys just smashed him backwards.
Yeah, Daniel Coleman was in there and hit him pretty hard. Looks like McIntyre was in there, and Marty Almanza probably helped a little bit too. He's usually on the top of the pile.
Clock rolling with 1:50 to play first quarter. Tied up at 7-7. Highland Park has it 3rd and 7 at the Greenville 13. Webb rolling left to throw. Throws it inside, caught at the 5-yard line, and the tackle there. And that's going to be close to a first down for Highland Park.
It's close to it, and they're calling a first down. Looks like he's got his hand up in the air. On top of that play was Shane Gray was in there, and I believe number 6, Reggie Freeman, were defending on that play. First down.
Yeah, the Highland Park's forte here obviously is just execution. We just do the same thing over and over again. You just stop it.
Yep, same thing every play. Execute.
Coming to the near side is Carroll on the handoff. Nick Spigner with a one-handed tackle drops him at the 4-yard line.
Yeah, and they gave him about another half yard on the mark on that, just an option to the left-hand side. Nick was right there, and he came up and did a good job and just stopped him for about a yard and a half gain.
Second and goal at the Greenville 3-yard line. Is it the 3?
3.5.
Huh?
3.5.
3.5, Earl says.
3.5.
Webb from the shotgun gives it to Fanning. Oh, man, is he buried. Just absolutely thought he'd hesitate for a moment, see if the hole opened up, and then he got just sideswiped, just absolutely taken out.
Yeah, Pearson McIntyre stuck his helmet right in the left ear of, he's down now.
Yeah.
Number 44, Ryan Fanning.
And so we have an official's timeout on the field. There's 30 seconds to play here in the first quarter. Greenville is tied with Highland Park, 7-7. Very nice contingency at Greenville Lion fans have made it over here to Highlander Stadium to watch the Greenville Lions and the Highland Park Scots plays. Of course, Highland Park's ranked number 3 in the state. Very fine football team, defending state champions in Division I in Class 4A.
They've won 23 in a row, and you don't do that without having a good football team. But as we talked about earlier, Rich, they're going against the Lions' strength out there. It's offense against defense, and right now the Lions are holding their own and doing quite well.
Just absolutely handed Marshall a whipping in the state championship game last year.
Yeah.
And Marshall didn't, they wanted to go to, Highland Park wanted to go to a neutral site that was big enough to hold everybody. And Marshall said, no, we don't want to do that. We want to play toss for home field advantage. And so they won the toss of the coin. And they said, okay, you have to come to Marshall. And of course, there weren't enough tickets for as many Highland Park fans as usually turns out.
Yeah, they're talking about Texas Stadium or any place like that to put the game in.
Or Rose Stadium in Tyler would have been good. Nice round of applause for Mr. Fanning, who is walking off very gingerly off of the field. So it looks like he's going to be okay. That's good news. Third down play for Highland Park at the Greenville 3.5-yard line.
They really gave him a generous spot on that play because they met him about 2 yards in the backfield, and they gave him to the previous line of scrimmage.
Alex Carroll walks up and says something to William Webb, the quarterback.
Don't give it to
Carroll. Throw it. Throw
the ball.
Webb running to the left, throwing to the left, caught in the end zone, touchdown, all alone, nobody anywhere near the receiver, who I think was number 80, Will Harris, catches the touchdown pass.
Raymond Payton went to sleep on that one. He had him look like man up, and he wasn't within 5 yards of him.
So they set up in the swinging gate play, and now everybody comes running off.
Rich, at halftime, explained to me the whole reason why they do all this nonsense out there.
Okay, won't take but a second. On for the PAT now is Brett Krause, waiting on the snap. There's the snap. The kick is up, and it's good. And Highland Park retakes the lead 14-7 with 19 seconds to play here in the first quarter. And we'll be back when Greenville Lions football continues in a moment. Welcome back to Highlander Stadium. 19 seconds to play here in the first quarter. Highland Park retakes the lead 14-7 after a 4-yard touchdown pass from Will Webb. 10 plays covering 56 yards in 4 minutes and 15 seconds. Here is the kickoff. Payton takes it at the 13-yard line. Comes to the near side, trying to cut through, and falls down at the 30-yard line where the tackle is made. 1st and 10 for the Lions from their own 30-yard line.
Yeah, he just hesitated a little bit too much there. He had 3 blockers in front of him, but he was 7-8 yards behind him. They closed behind him, and there was a whole lot more to that kickoff return if he just would have kept up with his blockers. 13 seconds left in the first quarter.
So here come the Lions. Eric Johnson is going to be standing to the left of Casey Ledford. Lions moving from our left to right. Ledford gets a good snap, takes off running. Keeps it on the option. Headed to the far sideline, turns, runs across the 30, the 35, and then down at about the 38-yard line, I think is where they're going to mark it. It's going to be just short of a first down.
Yeah, Casey did a good job. They covered the pitch man very well, and he could very well have gone to the pitch. That's the end of the first quarter. Could have gone to the pitch, but he kept it, made the end, and then picked up about 8.5 yards.
We'll take a timeout. Greenville is trailing 14-7, and we'll be back with the second quarter of play when Greenville Lions football continues in a moment. Welcome back. Time for the second quarter now. Greenville trailing at 14-7. It's 2nd and 1. Ledford with a snap, wants to pass, being chased. Circles back around on the run now. Across the 35 to the 37-yard line. Loses a yard on the play. Will bring up 3rd and 2 for the Lions.
Yeah, Casey had a real strong rush against him, and he is quick enough to run away from that rush. He was able to get on the outside and only lose about a yard. He had 7-8 yards lost, and then he got up there and did a good job getting back and keeping him in the position to make this 3rd down play, Rich.
Yeah, it's fast enough to lose only a yard.
Yeah, that's quite a comment, isn't it? Had to see the
handoff, goes inside to Spigner, outside to the 50-yard line, up the middle of the field to the 35 to the 30. Cuts back to the left of the 15, 10, 5, touchdown Greenville.
Yep, he called it. All he did was they run a trap pattern right in the middle, and Spigner they were looking for that first down play, and the Scots loaded up that defensive line. He stepped through, and there he was wide open once he got 5 yards past the line of scrimmage, Rich. And like you said earlier, it was a foot race, and they're not going to catch Nick when he's not the fastest guy on Greenville's team, but he had enough for the Scots that time.
63-yard touchdown run for Nick Spigner. Makes it 14-13. And Rumpf is on to try and tie it up. Marty Almanza to hold. Gets the snap. It's down. The kick is up. And it's perfect. Tie ball game. 11:09 to play first half. 14-14. We'll be back when Greenville Lions football continues in a moment. Stadium tie ball game. 14-14. Nick Spigner goes 63 yards. The Lions take 3 plays to go 71 yards in a minute and 1 second. In the first quarter, Highland Park used 27 plays, went 119 yards, 9 minutes and 55 seconds of possession. The Lions had it 5 plays for 101 yards in 2 minutes and 5 seconds. The Lions kickoff, very short kickoff taken by Highland Park at about their own 46-yard line.
Yeah, right now we're missing our normal kicker who went out last week with a broken collarbone, and Andrew Tarrant, we're missing you bad, buddy.
I hope you get to feeling better.
So the Highland Park takes over with 11:09 left in the second quarter. Tie ball game, 14-14.
Yeah, Highland Park is. Earl and I were talking about this, and you were about their ball control team is
absolutely.
They absolutely control the clock. Hand off to Carroll inside. He is hammered. Ronnie, who was that? That
was number 33. Jacob Johnston was in there along with Mark Mosby, and they absolutely hammered a very slow ball player.
Alex Carroll loses. It looked to me like he lost a yard, but they only mark a half a yard. They gave him some forward progress he didn't get.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, here Friday night at Highland Park Stadium.
Should be no surprise, so it's not. 2nd and a long 10 for Highland Park. From the shotgun is Webb. Wants to throw. Throws it to the far side. Caught at the 42-yard line. Peyton with the tackle, and coming up with the reception is William Lawson for the Scots, and that's enough for a first down.
Yeah, he's the wing back on the left-hand side. He just ran an out pattern about 13 yards down the field, and obviously William Webb knows right where he's going to be because he delivered the ball to him, picked up the first down, Rich.
10:24 to play here in the first half. Tie game, 14-14 between Greenville and the Highland Park Scots. Twins to either side. Webb back to pass. Chunks it out near side. And it is caught at about the 32-yard line. They'll mark him out at the 31-yard line. And with the reception is number 89, Ross Boland.
Yeah, Ross Boland just runs the out pattern right in front of, looked like Curtis Johnson was over there along with Marty Almanza. And he picks up 8.5 yards, 2nd and 1.5. Scots are going from our left to right into a little bit of a breeze right now. The wind's not too significant since it's coming from the protected side of the field, Rich.
Yeah, and the flag is sticking straight out. No, there's
not a lot of wind.
Nothing to do with it. Give it off to Carroll up the middle, and then he tries to break outside and just cannot break free, but got enough for a first down. Almanza finally took him down.
Yeah, Marty came from on his rush. He turned around, came back, made the play on Carroll. First down.
Yeah, 1st and 10 for the Scots here at Highlander Stadium. The ball at the Greenville 28-yard line. They're moving left to right. Ball in the near hash mark. 9:14 to play in the first half. Clock rolling. Tied up at 14-14. Twins to either side. Webb rolling left on play action. Decides to tuck and run. Gets the first down and more at the 10 and then out of bounds at the 10-yard line.
Yeah, and on the outside out there was number 86. He was holding the Greenville defender right in front of the side judge over there, and of course the hanky stayed in his pocket. Friday night, Scott Stadium, Highland Park, Texas.
SOP. 8:58 to play in the first half. 14-14, tie game. Highland Park knocking on the door once again. Highland Park is yet to punt in the game. They have had one interception. Webb gives off to Carroll. He spins to the inside and slammed to the ground at about the 6-yard line.
And Nick Sparkner, I think, was up underneath in that play like he's been all night from his middle linebacker. And Daniel Coleman was also in there from his linebacker position and grabs Webb by his feet and drops him.
And Jermaine Hamilton kind of came in on top of him. Make sure he hit the ground hard. Here come the Scots on a 2nd and goal. Webb to the left. Pitches just before he hits the ground, and the ball is on the ground, and Carroll is now thrown out of bounds at about the 18-yard line of the Greenville Lions. A loss on the play. It really should have been down where Webb was going down, but I guess the officials just thought differently.
Yeah, surprisingly, they didn't call him down there. Webb was really an ill-timed and ill-accomplished pitch there, and Carroll couldn't field the ball, and they lose big time on there. Now it's 3rd and goal from the 17.5-yard line, Rich.
7:51 to play first half. Clock rolling. Tie game 14-14. Highland Park with a 3rd and goal. Webb wants to throw. Corner in the end zone, and it is caught, but was he inbounds? They say yes that he was. And of course in high school you only have to have 1 foot down, and it was Seth Gardner, I believe, with the catch.
Seth Gardner made the catch, and they're picking on Raymond Payton at 5'9", 160 pounds. This Raymond was there, but he just was way too short to make a play on that ball.
And I think Mr. Payton was debating as to whether or not he had the foot down, but then the officials never consult with the players on those.
Especially at Highland Park.
Yeah. Brett Krause on for the PAT. Ross Bolin will hold. Good snap. It's down. The kick is up. And it's good. And Highland Park takes a 21-14 lead with 7:38 to play here in the first half. And we'll be back when Greenville Lions football continues in a moment. With 7:38 to play here in the first half. Webb with a 17-yard touchdown pass to Gardner. 8 plays, covering 54 yards in 3 minutes and 31 seconds. And so the Highland Park Scots have been consuming an awful lot of
playing
time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's we've been talking about it all night, Rich. It's a matter of ball control and doing what they do best, which is precision football. And went right down the field. Actually, it looked like the Lions had him stopped there at the 17.5-yard line. Threw a nice pass over the top of the Greenville defender and got a touchdown.
Yeah, Webb throws. He's a good passer.
Yeah, he does a good job.
Here is the approach for the kickoff to the Greenville Lions. A squib kick along the field and picked up by Spigner at the 30-yard line. And makes his way up to about the 38-yard line. And obviously, Highland Park does not want to try to chase anybody down.
No, don't want to chase anybody down. Nick was standing there about the 31-yard line, and he just played shortstop, short-hopped it right into his hands, and he picked up about 7-8 yards with a little blocking in front of him. You can't do that that quickly to get the block set up. So great field position for the Lions as they start on their 38-yard line, Rich.
Referee looks like he may have ate where we ate.
I think he did. Had too many enchiladas.
Yeah, several. 1st and 10 for the Lions at their own 38-yard line. Ludford gives it off inside. Eric Johnson trying to find a place to break out and just can't do it, and that's the first time that Highland Park has been able to really squash the Lions defense here in the second quarter.
Yeah, Conrad Kaltenbeck, who looked to me like their best defensive lineman, number 79, come across and did a good job on that play and dropped the Lions for about a yard loss.
The Lions looking over to the far sideline, getting the signals from the coaches. 6:58 to play, and the clock is rolling here in the first half. 21-14, Greenville trailing. Ludford from the shotgun. Twins to either side. Rolling to his right. Throws. Caught. Kevin Heath. And then out of bounds he goes. They mark him quickly at the 46-yard line.
They marked him about a yard and a half short of what he really picked up on that play, Rich, and the guy wasn't even in position to make the call on the far sideline in front of the Greenville bench.
3rd down and 2 for the Lions. Marked at the Greenville 46 on the far hash mark. Greenville moving right to left.
They're playing that foot play. You see the way the coaches went to the foot on the signal in from the sidelines. No huddle offense.
Ludford from the shotgun, Twins to either side. Ludford keeps it over the right side. Gets the first down. Spins out to the 45 of Highland Park. Tackled out of bounds. No flag.
No, he was hit about 2 yards out of bounds with no flag whatsoever, and the coach is talking to him, and obviously there's no silk coming out of that sidelines over there. And Casey did a great job. He went in the middle. He was looking for a hole in the middle of the line, and he squirted to the outside, picked up the first down, and they're rolling into the Scots at the Scots 45-yard line, Rich. Or as you
6:30. Go ahead.
As you said earlier, they're 55-yard line.
No, it was 55 was down here.
55-yard.
Yeah, I was trying to keep up with that 6-man football stuff.
Yeah, the old 55-yard line.
Yeah. One in every game.
Yeah.
Ludford from the shotgun. Ball at the Highland Park 45. Little end around reverse. Coming to the near side. Turning at the 40 is Heath. Fumbles the football. Highland Park recovers it at the 36-yard line.
Absolutely terrible play by young Mr. Heath. The block was to the outside. He went into the inside and then got hit and dropped the ball on the mat. That's absolutely the worst thing that the Lions could have done at that possible time, because they need to keep the momentum going.
Yeah, I don't know what his propensity is to always want to turn inside when he's got blocking to the outside, but that's been his MO.
He's been doing that all season long, and that time it cost him, because if he would have stayed the outside, he would have picked up his block and also wouldn't have got the tackle that came in so hard and knocked the ball free.
Here comes Highland Park leading at 21-14, 6:24 to play in the first half. Webb gives it to Carroll. They do their own reverse. And then they drop him, or Artie Almanza does, back at the 30-yard line, as the Lions didn't fall for it, and William Lawson loses major yardage. They mark him at the 31, although I'm not sure why.
Well, it's plus 3 or 4 yards every time they mark him out there for the Scots, but Marty Almanza probably saw the play that he just saw from Heath all week long and knew to stay in his position, and he does a great job making the stop.
Trips to the far side for Highland Park. Webb rolling left, pulling up, wanting to throw deep down the far sideline, and almost intercepted by Peyton. Peyton was the only one that had a shot at it, and he let it go through his hands.
Yeah, well, that's what I keep telling. I told my sons all the time. He hit him in a bad spot, which was right square in his hands, and he drops the ball. I guess that's the reason why he's playing defensive back.
It was down at about the 35-yard line of the Greenville Lions. Would have been a nice turnaround.
Great turnaround.
Brings up 3rd and about 16 for Highland Park. Ball is at the Highland Park 31-yard line. They need to get to their own 46 to get the first down. Webb from the shotgun, pulls up, throws it back to the near side. Great tackle by Curtis Johnson, who read it all the way.
Curtis Johnson read it all the way. They stuck the big number 78, the right tackle, out there to run the flanker screen, and Curtis Johnson went by him like a swinging door and made the tackle for about a 4 or 5 yard loss. Of course, you know where the spot is, Rich. It was farther back down the field, but he lost the ball, and great defensive play there by the Greenville Lions.
Seth Gardner was looking at Blake Davis like, What was that?
What was that?
How'd you let him get by you?
That's the old lookout block. Look out.
Brings up 4th down. And here is the first punt of the game, and it's a nice one for Highland Park. Fair catch. Nope, it's not a fair catch. Curtis Johnson running down the far sideline across the 50, across the 40, the 30 of Highland Park, and then caught from behind and then knocked out of bounds at about the 23-yard line.
Yeah, and I thought we were going to have a flag over there, but they kept it in their pockets, and he did a great job, made the corner, and picked up about 35 yards on that return. We'll get the exact yardage from Earl here shortly. Statistician extraordinaire.
4:47 to play here in the first half. Greenville trailing at 21-14.
I'll tell you what, folks, for those of you who decide to stay home in Greenville tonight, you're missing a whale of a ball game here at Scott Stadium.
What?
He caught the ball at the 38-yard line. Earl's working on his stats.
39-yard return.
Oh, shoot, I said 37. I'm sorry.
That's close.
Close.
Casey Ledford at quarterback. Maybe Eric Johnson standing to his left, to the near side. Greenville moving from our right to left. Hand off to Eric Johnson inside. Gets it across the 20. So that means he'll probably be marked right at the 20 or the 19 or the 21.
Yeah, pretty close to the 21. They're running that slot motion from the right side. He goes in motion, try to get the safety going his way, and then he steps underneath, gets the ball to Curtis Johnson, and he picks up about 3.5 yards. So it was actually about 4.5, but with the mark, they got 3.5.
4:18 to play in the first half. Greenville trailing at 21-14. Second and about 7 for the Lions. The ball at the 20-yard line on the far hash mark. They're moving right to left. Handoff comes left. Eric Johnson trying to pick a hole, turns at the 15, and then runs into the 10-yard line. Ran up the back of Baxter McConnell. Earl says that's enough for a first down.
Yeah, it is first down, and they can get right to the goal line, maybe pick up it's first and goal from the 10.5-yard line. Obviously, they're going to not give him that 6 inches rich. Lions look good out here. They look good. They're being efficient. They're hanging on to the football. I hate to say that, but they're hanging on to Earl.
Earl just gave you the look.
The look.
Earl just gave you the look.
Well, they're being efficient enough to move the football and doing well on offense tonight, which has been the exception this year rather than the rule.
Ludford has to keep it and eat it back at the 15-yard line.
They brought everybody at the kitchen sink right straight up through the middle, and they were looking for some type of option play there, and obviously they dropped Casey for a 5-yard loss.
Yeah, Earl's going to have a talk with you on the way back.
Earl is? Well, I'm driving, so if he wants a ride, he better keep his mouth shut. There are options,
21-14, Greenville is trailing. 2:54 to play in the first half.
I brought the blue boat tonight, so Earl needs a ride home.
He can cruise.
He can cruise.
Trips to the far side. Ludford is the lone setback. Ludford looking left, throwing into the end zone. And they had 2 receivers who crossed paths. Peter Lagone was the one that tipped the ball, and it looked like Kevin Heath was the one that could have run under it.
Yeah, it was wide open in the end zone. They were back there at least 2 yards behind the defenders, and Casey tried to drop it right at the goal line, and the line of offensive guys ran into each other and took each other out of the play. 3rd and goal from the 14-yard line. Obviously a big offensive series for the Lions here.
Yeah, they'll use 2 plays. I doubt that they'll go for the field goal. Ludford again, the lone setback. Wants to throw. Over the middle. Intercepted at the 2-yard line. Ball is stripped away and loose on the ground, and Highland Park will recover it at about the 7-yard line.
Yeah, number 4 out there, Peter Lagone, could have had a shot at getting the fumble, and he just stood there and got pushed off by a Highland Park ball player.
So Highland Park dodges a bullet when the Lions had it on the move.
Yeah, it's too bad they had the ball going down there, and Casey just threw threw the ball into double coverage down there, and Highland Park picks it off. Poor field position. We'll see if the Lions can hold them right here.
Well, they've got a shot because, like we've talked about all year long and is pretty much consistent always, the playbook is just really thin down at this end of the field.
Changes a lot. They're going to go to Carroll.
West wants to run with it and is knocked down. A little shoulder tackle. Takes him down at the 13-yard line. They'll mark him way out to the 14.
Yeah, he's probably showing the best athleticism on the Highland Park team so far that I've seen, Rich. He picks up, when he decides to run the ball, he'll pull it down, and he's quick through the middle, and he picks up about 8 yards.
He's got pretty good speed, too.
He does.
William Webb, the quarterback, brings up second and a short 3 for the Scots, who lead at 21-14. Hands off to Carroll. Carroll finds a hole over the left side. Across the 20, almost to the 25-yard line. Has the first down out to the 24.
Yeah, Carroll got a hole right off that left offensive line. Looked like left tackle position and squirted through there and showed a little bit more speed than he shown earlier this evening and picks up the first down. 1:46 left in the second quarter. Scots are leading 21-14 over our hometown Greenville Lions.
Trips to the near side. Twins to the far side. William Webb is the lone setback. He's the quarterback. Lions threatening to blitz. Here they come. Quick toss out to the far side. Caught by Carroll. And Carroll is taken down at about the 29-yard line, and the clock will roll with 1:19 on it.
Yeah, they tried to isolate Carroll over there on that left side. The Lions had a blitz coming, and they isolated him, and the Scots tried to isolate him over there, and the Lions did a good job of coverage and dropped him.
Second down and a long 6 at about the 29 of Highland Park. Webb back to throw over the far side. Got a receiver who is wide open. Goes out of bounds at about the 39, and that was Seth Gardner with the catch.
Yes, for some reason or other, Raymond Payton doesn't want to cover over there on that side of the field, and he was back about 5 to 7 yards off of the receiver.
Didn't want him to get on a fly route by him, I guess.
We're talking about the Highland Park Scots on a fly pattern.
That might get past him. That would be kind of scary at this point. Here comes the blitz. Webb gets it off, caught underneath to the 50-yard line, down the far sideline of the 40, to the 30, to the 20, to the 15, and then tackled at the 11-yard line.
Yeah, nice running pass there from to the crossing pattern right across the middle to number 86, and he picks up the first down and obviously gets in the scoring position for the Scots with 41 seconds left. The Lions really need to bow it up here and stop and keep them out of the end zone here.
Seth Gardner with the catch. Of course, the Lions had the blitz on, and that took a lot of them out of the defensive pursuit. Quick toss left side to Carroll. It is caught. And then Gray let him get away from him, and then they had to get help from the backside, and then Payton came up and took him down at about the 3-yard line.
Yeah, Shane Gray was right there on the ball and didn't even come close to making the tackle, and they gave him about another 3.5 yards or 2 yards on this spot here, Rich.
27 seconds to play here in the first half, and Highland Park Scots called a timeout. Well, the Lions fumble and turn it over to the Highland Park Scots. They turn around and they use 7 plays to go 94 yards in 2 minutes. A 3-yard touchdown pass to Bolin. And a big play was 49-yard pass to Lawson, which set all that up. And Highland Park leads at 28-14 here with 23 seconds to play in the first half. Highland Park kicking off to the Lions from left to right. And they kick it away. Johnson will let it bounce into the end zone and out the backside. And so the Lions will have 23 seconds to work with when they bring it out to the 20-yard line. Now, what would you do with 23 seconds left on the clock and you're trailing 28-14 behind the number 3 ranked team in the state of Texas?
I'm going for it. Yeah, I don't have anything to lose. We're 2-2 in the district, and Highland Park is undefeated, and why not go for it?
Well, Byron Bell's, he's in your game plan. He's the only one out there right now, but he's ready to do it.
Byron Bell's ready to go. He's been ready to go all year long. Good job of snapping tonight out of number 77, Nathan Bird. His first real top-notch job of snapping.
I'm surprised Earl didn't look at you again.
Yeah.
Twins to either side. Snap to Ludford. Ball is on the ground. Eric Johnson had to make a scramble for it, and I think he was able to dive on it.
Yeah, he was able to get back on him. They were trying to run a crossing in the backfield and just didn't get well, he got the ball. He just dropped it from Eric Johnson. He was lucky it bounced right up so he could get it.
Well,
that's the end of the
Kevin
half.
Heath crossed in front of him, and then they tried to hand it off inside to Eric Johnson, but Eric had already gone too far for Casey to get it to him.
Yep.
And thus ends the half. 28-14, Greenville is trailing Highland Park here at Highlander Stadium. And we'll be back when Greenville Lions football continues in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Highlander Stadium, where the Greenville Lions are trailing at 28-14 as we're about ready to start the third quarter of play. The Greenville Lions already out of the locker room and on the sideline in their red stockings and red pants with their white jerseys, red numerals, and their red helmets with the Georgia G on both sides, waiting on the Scots who are parked down in the south end zone.
Parked, that's right. They're parked down here waiting for, here they come. Lions will get the ball at the kickoff and hopefully take it down and score.
Yeah, and I was noticing that William Webb, who's the quarterback for the Scots, the kid's only 5'9".
Yeah, he's like I said, you can put the pressure on here and you can get him out of his patterns if you just get up into his face, and he's pretty quick, but when you get into his face, he's trying to throw the ball, he can't get the ball over your head. So the Lions really need to put some pressure on him, and we'll see if that's an adjustment that Coach Cordell and his staff makes for the second half, and also we'll see if we get a little bit more activity out of the defensive backs up trying to knock the ball down.
Yeah, because I know that the Greenville coaches have probably already noticed these guys run upright, so if you can just pop them, make sparks start flying.
Yeah, get the sparks flying like they did a couple times in the first half, and once you get those sparks flying, get some turnovers and get something good going on.
Lions are ready to receive the kickoff to start the second half, and they're going to be moving from our right to left. Highland Park will be kicking with a breeze at their back.
They're trying to get the Highland Park band off the field so they can start the second half.
No, they won't bother anybody.
No, they won't bother. You certainly couldn't tell Highland Park to do anything. Certainly couldn't do that.
I know there were cameras everywhere waiting for them to come out of the
I saw more
the field.
More cameras on this field than I've seen in most college games.
Or at the Cowboys even.
Right.
Highland Park has got it teed up now as they're ready to kick off from our left or right.
There's that old song, Money Talks, but it don't. Sing and dance and something like that.
Matt Bonanno. 1 Bonanno, 2 Bonanno, 3 Bonanno, 4.
He's the only sophomore on this Highland Park varsity football team.
He's kicking off from the far hash mark from our left to right. Peyton is standing dead center of the field, about the 3-yard line, back deep for the Lions. Curtis Johnson is to the far side. Here's the approach. They kick it straight away. Peyton takes it at the goal line, gives it to Curtis Johnson, comes to the near side at the 15, and that's where he is going to be tackled. They'll give him his forward progress to the 15-yard line.
Well, I hope this isn't a sign of what's going to happen in the second half. All the Lions blockers were just standing there looking at each other. Nobody got a block for Curtis Johnson. They were trying to run a reverse off that kickoff return, and somewhat poor field position here. If they would just let it go in the end zone, they could have got it on the 20.
It's a special teams thing.
Special teams.
11:52 to play, third quarter. Greenville trailing at 28-14. Here come the Lions. Casey Ludford at quarterback. Eric Johnson standing to his right. They're moving from our right to left. The ball is on the near hash mark. Peter Lagone in motion to the right. Takes the handoff, bobbles it, pulls it down, and then takes off running. And gains only about a yard on the play, maybe 2.
Come from the left slot back position. Peter Lagone, he almost tried to give the ball away right in front of the Scots as he bobbled it on the handoff from Casey.
Yeah, if anybody had hit him, it'd have been over.
Yep.
2nd and a long 8 for the Lions. The ball inside the Greenville 17-yard line.
It's showing a lot of lack of intensity right now on the Lions' part out here. Hopefully they're going to pick it up a little bit.
Play clock is at 9 seconds. Ledford from the shotgun wants to throw. Got a little bit of time, and is going to be sacked as time ran out back to the 7-yard line.
That was really a coverage sack right there in front of Casey. Everybody was covered downfield, and he just hung on to the ball too long, and we've got 3rd and about 16. Not the way you wanted to start the first series in the second half, and now you're down on about the 9-yard line, and it cuts the playbook, Rich. We talked about that before.
Well, so much about the Highland Park Scots not being able to run with the Lions.
So much.
That was Dutch Cruz that was running with Stanton down the far sideline. Handoff inside of the right side to Eric Johnson. Turns the corner outside. A penalty marker is thrown at the 11-yard line. And Johnson is forced out of bounds.
Yeah, they had a hold of Johnson's face mask, but I don't think that's what it's going to be. It's going to be holding on the Lions, I think.
Hold against the Greenville Lions. That'll move it half the distance to the goal. 10:23 to play here in the third quarter. Greenville trailing at 28-14. Started off the ball game, or the second half. A little trickster play. They tried to do a little reverse on the kickoff. And Jim pretty much pointed it out. The special teams, like they knew this coming, so they just were going to watch it.
Yeah, the Lions come out. They're flatter than a pancake right here, and they're going to have to kick it up if they're going to stay in this ball game at all.
They declined the penalty, so we're looking at 4th down. Ledford is back deep. Takes the snap. That's a little pooch kick. Bounces outside the 40, picked up at the 44. Down the far sideline and diving head first to the 32-yard line. So that's a pretty good return on a not very good punt, but then the Lions don't have a punter.
Yep. And that was Alex Carroll back there on that punt return, and he does put himself up the field, and here they go. They're starting from the 33-yard line, and this is shades of the first quarter last week, Rich.
1st and 10 for Highland Park at the Greenville 33-yard line. Webb, 5'9" quarterback, gives it to Carroll. He runs left, gets knocked down by Jermaine Hamilton.
And Jermaine came knifing in from his left side over there and just did basically a chop block on Carroll before he got started. And, of course, they give him an extra yard on his forward progress. 2nd and 8. Ball at the Greenville 31-yard line. They need to get to the Greenville 23 to get a first down. Scott's moving left to right, leading at 28-14. Webb wants to throws it quickly, and it is caught at about the 25-yard line, but one of the Lions almost stepped in front of it and picked it off. Yeah, that was
a penalty marker thrown late.
That was number 6, Reggie Freeman.
And there's another penalty marker thrown on one of the Highland Park Scots.
Yeah, he made a comment to the guy in the black hat, and he didn't like it. And I think we might have the double penalties here.
Yeah, one will be a dead ball, I think, and then the other one is going to be a part of at the end of the play. And let's wait and let them sort everything out. But it was number 89, who is Ross Bolin, who the back judge came up, and Bolin said something to the back judge. Dead ball foul, personal foul, Greenville. Dead ball foul, personal foul, Highland Park.
Well, I'm not buying I'm not buying that call at all, because it's what he said to that referee, and that's no personal foul, dead ball foul there. So unsportsmanlike conduct or something like that, that's one thing, but we certainly didn't have no dead ball foul on that baby.
And I don't know why they're struggling to spot the ball here. Oh, they're looking to see if it's a first down. And they're going to bring the chains over from across the way, so the penalty's offset. Duh. That's maybe it's just me, but I think that they were perhaps letting these youngsters talk too much to the authority figures and letting them get away with it.
Earl says it's 4 inches short on on this place, but we're in Highland Park, and where it's got
first down
stadium and
first down.
Nope, it's short. Earl's right, 4 inches short.
See, that's why I very seldom ever doubt him, with the exception of the halftime stats.
Yeah,
it was a 26-yard average per carry for Highland Park.
Yes. It's a small matter of a
decimal point is big. It's so big.
It's like 200,000 or 2 million. Nothing big.
Coaches are talking to Bolin now. Coach is still out on the field.
And
there were dead ball fouls, offsetting penalties, and which means squat. 9:40 to play here in the third quarter.
They can go half the distance that way and 15 that way.
Okay. Earl says they're going to go. They're going to go half the distance to the goal and 15 back. So they move it 15 yards to the 11-yard line, and they place it at the 12-yard line of Greenville. Now the dead ball foul will be marked off
15
against Highland Park.
5, 10, and he's short. About 3 yards.
And it moves it to the 28-yard line. For statistical purposes, it'll be the 26-yard line at Greenville. Then it'll be 3rd and 4.
Yep, 3rd and 4.
And one was at the end of the play, and the other was, there was no play. And there's loss of down somewhere in there, and it's he signaled loss of down. I'm not sure why. But it's 3rd down right now, and about a short 4 for Highland Park at the 26 of Greenville. Trips to the far side, one receiver to the near side. Carroll with a handoff, runs left, breaks open at the 15, the 10, the 5, and is tackled inside the 5-yard line. They'll mark him at the 2.
Yeah, Carroll just went off the right guard position. There wasn't much of a hole, but he broke it to the outside, and there were no Greenville defenders within 10, 15 yards of him, and he goes down there.
Just smart running.
Yeah, smart running to the outside.
9:32 to play here in the third quarter. 28-14, Greenville trailing it. Highland Park with a 1st and goal at the 3-yard line of Greenville. 2-yard line. Sorry, Earl.
Earl throws that. There's 2 bony little fingers up
Mr. Baton. Carroll gets the handoff. One of the Lions had hold of his ankle, and I think that was Pearson McIntyre, and that allowed the rest of the Lions to catch up with him and finally take him down. But Carroll did not go down easily.
No, that was number 36 under the pile, Jermaine Hamilton, who had a hold of him, and Pearson McIntyre came over to help him out, along with number 40, Mark Mosby. Not much on that play, Rich. They can do that 2 or 3 more times. It'd be at least make a statement for him.
8:45 and the clock is rolling. 28-14. Highland Park leading it. 2nd and goal at the Greenville 2. Webb keeps it, and he goes in for the touchdown for Highland Park.
He goes in untouched, and Mr. Carroll, number 34, just punched Marty Almanza right in the face with the referee standing there, and nothing was done about it.
Oh, no, there won't be either. 34-14. Highland Park leading it. Bring out the kicking team now for the PAT. Brett Krause on for the PAT to try to make it 35-14. Waiting on the snap. It's there. The kick is up, and it's blocked. Marty Almanza. Ball is loose on the ground. And so the PAT is no good. 34-14. Highland Park leads it. 8:35 to play third quarter. We'll be back when Greenville Lions football continues in a moment. 8:35 to play in a third quarter. William Webb with a 2-yard touchdown run. They used 5 plays to go 33 yards in a minute and 38 seconds. They lead at 34-14 after Marty Almanza blocked the PAT. Here is the kickoff. Curtis Johnson picks it up at the 10 on the skip. Heads down the far sideline, tippy toes. That may be Kevin Heath that gets it across the 30 out to about the 33-yard line. They'll mark him at the 31, and it is Kevin Heath on the return.
Yeah, the Scots had gone away from kicking it deep, and they paid the price that time. And Kevin Heath does a good job getting out there to about the 32-yard line.
And the coaches for Greenville may be telling the Lions, hey, right now you just need to keep your composure, stay focused, because obviously you've got the Highland Park Scots stirred up. They're not able to handle what it is that you're throwing it at them, because I don't think they've seen a team as physical as Greenville is this year.
I don't think they have.
Casey Ledford from the shotgun. Gives it off inside. Here comes Eric Johnson, turns at the 40, and is thrown out of bounds at about the 43-yard line. And that's going to be close to a first down. And that's a terrible spot.
Yeah, it's the worst spot you get every time, but they lose about 2 or 3 yards every time they spot it, and of course the Highland Park gets 2 or 3 every time. But that was just the speed coming out on the outside. Eric Johnson picks up the speed, goes around the end, and runs away from the Scots.
Yeah, I mean, he'd been picked up by the shoulder pads and slung out. Casey Ledford is alone in the backfield. Wants to throw under pressure, throwing deep over the middle. And it is caught. Kevin Heath at the 15, 10, 5, and drops at the 2-yard line.
They're going to chalk him at the 6-inch yard line. Hopefully he'll jump up here in a minute. He's down in the end zone. But
yeah, they do mark him at the 6-inch line.
Yeah, well, he was there. That was the one time that they really knew where the spot was, and he was there, and they give him his forward progress to the 6-inch line. I'm telling them they can't stick with these Lions. All they got to do is just get into the backfield, get the ball to them, and they just can't stick with them.
Yeah, because I lost him in the window in the computer screen.
All Casey did was get the ball out there in front of him and did a great job, and he got the
52-yard pass play. Casey Ledford keeps it on the quarterback sneak, goes into the end zone, touchdown Greenville.
Yeah, they moved Brian Belbrett, the big old left tackle. They move him into the inside, and Casey Ledford just goes right over the top of Nathan Bird and Brian Bell.
Earl corrected me, 57-yard pass play. Lions a little swinging gate action. They pull out of it.
Oh, you didn't tell me about the methodology on the swinging gate at halftime.
Well, actually, it's worked once. They had Mark Mosby set up with it, and they pitched it back to Casey Ledford, and then he was able to run in the end zone with it almost virtually untouched. Rumpf with a PAT. No, this may be short. No, he missed it off to the right side.
Yeah, and he really needed that.
34-20, Greenville trailing at 7:26 to play third quarter. We'll be back when Greenville Lions football continues in a moment. Greenville Lions used 3 plays to go 67 yards in a minute and 9 seconds. Ledford with a 1-yard touchdown run following a 57-yard pass to Kevin Heath. And the PAT failed. It's 34-20, Greenville trailing at 7:26 to play third quarter. Rumpf on to kickoff for the Greenville Lions. A little pop-over kick going to the far side. And the Lions have come up with it at the 35-yard line of Highland Park.
Absolutely a brilliant thing, something we try to do every day at Greenville Christian School. He kicks the ball right straight up in the air. It goes 3 yards over the head of the Scots lineman. And comes in there, and the Lions covered it for a great turnover on the onside kick, Rich. It doesn't get any better than that. Was that Ray Payton come in there and got the ball?
I couldn't see.
I think it was.
That ball happened so fast. They mark it at the 39-yard line of Highland Park.
I think it was number 5. Ray Payton did a great job of coverage on that thing.
First and 10 for the Lions. One receiver to the near side. That's Baxter McConnell. Eric Johnson in the backfield with Casey Ledford. The Lions moving right to left. Johnson with a handoff to the right side at the 35 with a penalty marker down back at the 38.
Got a hold on the outside out there. Every time they run in that direction, somebody's over there making the hold. I don't know if that's looks like it could be Sean Driggers out there making the hold, but he gets called every time.
Waiting on the officials to sort it out as they gave Eric Johnson forward progress to the 32-yard line. Referee says it is holding against the Greenville Lions. 7:16 to play third quarter. Greenville trailing at 34-20.
And Coach Cordell is pointing out we'd like to see that same call made on the opposite side of the ball. I think that's what he's talking to the linesman about, Rich.
Yeah, just like to see it, call it both ways kind of thing.
It always is a little bit more beneficial to everybody playing that way.
Ball is moved back to the 49-yard line of Highland Park. Still first down. The Lions need to get to the 29-yard line of Highland Park to get a first down. Or to get the next first down. Trips to the far side. Baxter McConnell wide to the near side. Ludford in shotgun. Gives it off. Up the middle goes Eric Johnson, and down he goes at about the 47-yard line, and 2 penalty markers come in late.
And I think they're going to throw something on the Red Hats here, or I don't know.
And they're trying to get the Scots to back up. It's thrown in the secondary was where the flags were thrown.
Yeah, but there was a scrum right there in the middle of the whole operation, and I don't know what they got going on in there.
Yeah, I was looking at Eric Johnson getting up off of the field and wasn't really looking to see then I saw the flags fly, so I missed the scrum part.
They're telling the Scots to back up. They're obviously mouthing on there, but nobody's really making them do anything out there. Of course, there they are, the Highland Park Scots.
Well, the Lions are up closer than the Scots are.
Well, they're not mouthing, though. That's just...
6:55 to play here in the third quarter. Greenville trailing at 34-20. The officials are trying to sort out what the 2 penalty markers are that were thrown in the Highland Park secondary. Dead ball foul, personal foul, Greenville. Oh, dead ball foul, personal foul, Highland Park. Okay, what to do?
Well, you couldn't give one on, just on Highland Park. You got to give it on both, so it does cancel it out. I mean, obviously, you wouldn't want to give one on Highland Park.
Well, those penalties are, offsetting penalties. There's got to be some sort of a new rule to come up with where those players have to go. Now they're going to mark the penalties off and then mark them back, which is fine, I guess.
Yeah.
But it needs to be one of those deals that the players that were involved, okay, you have to sit out the next 3 plays.
Well, I agree with that.
Or something like that. There's got to be some sort of penalty instead of offsetting penalties. If you're not going to do it any other way. But the important part is the Greenville Lions are going to get a first down out of this.
Yep.
Is what happens now. And then when they mark off the personal foul against Greenville, it's going to mark it back 15 yards, and so it'll be first and 25.
So in reality, the Lions take it in the short.
It's still the same thing. They were looking at first and
20.
And 25. First and 20. So the Lions get to they need to get to the Highland Park 22 to get a first down. And they're going to mark it at the Highland Park 47-yard line.
And it's offsetting plays, and it ends up hurting the Lions by 5 yards.
Yeah. 6:55 to play third quarter. That penalty took 7 minutes and 27 seconds. And
time of possession by the referee, 7 minutes and 28 seconds.
34-20, Highland Park leads it. Here come the Lions on a first down play. Casey Ledford from the shotgun. Quick pass inside, and ball is batted up into the air, intended for Stanton. Highland Park Scott was all over him, absolutely all over him. And Coach Cordell is really politicking for the call from the linesman. Obviously, he's not going to get any help.
He ran right straight into the receiver from the line. He was 2 or 3 steps before he got there, and he didn't even make a call on it. And Coach Cordell is exactly right there on the sidelines. Can't get a call. Get paid too well here at Highland Park Stadium.
Yep. Second down for the Greenville Lions. Lagone goes in motion left to right. Handoff comes to the near side to Eric Johnson. Turns at the 45, down the near sideline at the 40, and out of bounds at the 36-yard line is where they will mark it. and a penalty marker back at the 49-yard line. And Byron Bell is back pleading with the referee. And the referee is calling holding against the Greenville Lions.
Well, you get paid too much here at Highland Park Stadium, folks. It's just the way it is, and they're just moving them back. But now it's going to be 2nd and 40 yards on just some calls that just stink.
Now, Byron's still working on the referee, but it's not going to do any good. Oh, my word. It moves it all the way back to the Greenville 43-yard line. They need to get to the Highland Park 22 to get a first down now. So it's 2nd down and like real long.
Yeah, Casey needs to just air it out and let one of the faster receivers run under it. And
I'd like to see him turn around and pitch it to the referee.
Yeah.
Ludford keeps it coming around the near side. And he is tackled for a loss back at the 39-yard line.
Guess what? There's no flags out there. Unbelievable. Of course, it's a loss by the Lions.
Yeah, it's a loss on the play. So
don't throw any hanky out there on that one.
Keep an eye on Byron Bell and see what it is because he may be having to keep both of his hands to his side the whole time he's approaching the line.
Well,
may not be able to extend.
They're calling both tackles for holding on. They're calling Brandon Medkins on the right side and Byron Bell on the left side every time that they try to make a block.
3rd down for the Lions. They need to get to the 22 of Highland Park, trailing at 34-20 with 5:55 to play. Penalty markers fly at the 40-yard line. This is going to be, I'm guessing, false start charged against the Lions. And
when does it become just blatantly ridiculous? I just don't understand.
Dead ball foul, false start, Greenville Lions.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Well, it's been the history. As many years as I've been doing Greenville Lions football, they don't get respected home, much less on the road. There have been a couple of games when I have seen that they have gotten an officiating crew that was absolutely terrific, and Greenville won those ball games. 3rd down for the Greenville Lions with the ball back at the Greenville 34-yard line. Handoff, nope. Ludford keeps it to the near side. Turns inside the 40, runs across the 45 to about the 47-yard line.
Yeah, they got a plus yardage and no flags out there. They must have got stuck in their back pockets or something today.
It's a limit maybe for 4 or 5 minutes left.
4th and 40, looks like.
Yeah, they need to get to that 22-yard line of the Scots. Ball is at the Greenville 48-yard line on the near hash mark. Trips to either side on a 4th down play. Ludsford is the punter. 34-20 Greenville trailing it. Timeout is called by Highland Park. Thank you for finally giving us some sort of indication. We'll take a timeout, too, with 4:58 to play 3rd quarter. 34-20 Greenville trailing it. Greenville Lions football continues in a moment. Ludford from the shotgun, waiting for the snap, gets a good one. A little quick pooch kick. Bounces across the 20. Coverage is able to get down there, and it'll be blown dead at the 16-yard line of Highland Park. And the Lions have held on to the ball for the longest that they've had the ball for the entire football game, thanks to a truckload of penalties that came out of the pockets of this alleged officiating crew here at Highland Park.
Yeah, we're going to have to call them an alleged officiating crew. They're just, one right after the other penalty on the Greenville Lions. When the ball game gets close, and you got to be suspicious. Rich, I'm sorry. Skepticism reigns.
John Ellerman in at quarterback throws a deep pass over the middle, and it is caught across the 50, coming to the 40, to the 30, caught from behind by Gray, and taken down at the 18-yard line. Receiver Holt Redwine.
Yeah, just a total broken play there by number 2, Curtis Johnson. He left him go wide. Right across the middle, they got a new quarterback in there, number 10, John Ellerman, and he throws a nice strike, and they pick up about 45 or 50 yards on that play, Rich.
4:36 to play third quarter, 34-20. Greenville is trailing it. Trips to the far side. Ellerman at quarterback gives it to Carroll, and he runs into Pearson McIntyre, who absolutely wraps him up, and then Lions finish him off at the 19-yard line. Bring up second down.
Yeah, and Scott was in there just beating on number 6, Reggie Freeman, and Freeman says, well, how about doing something about it? And the referee says, are you kidding me, kid?
4:02 to play here, third quarter. Clock rolling, 34-20. Greenville trailing it. Highland Park threatening at the 19-yard line of Greenville. Ellerman at quarterback. Wants to throw. Pumps once, looks to the near side, and it is knocked away. Curtis Johnson in the end zone.
Yeah, he did an absolutely brilliant job. That time he made the turn when the pass came, stepped in front of him, and knocked the ball down. Great job by Curtis Johnson.
Pass intended that time. I think it was for Ross Boland, who should have been kicked out of the game earlier, personal opinion.
Yep.
3rd and 10 for Highland Park at the Greenville 19. Trips to the far side. Back to pass is Ellerman. Dumps it off underneath, caught by Carroll. Little stiff arm, crosses the 10 and stumbles across the 5, loses the football, a scramble for it. And they're going to say that the ball actually rolled out of bounds at the 5-yard line.
Yeah, they had a good job of they had him right in the backfield, and he just skipped away from the defender and got down to the about 4-yard line.
And that'll be a first down. And timeout is called by the Greenville Lions with 3:34. And Coach Cordell is out on the field. And he is, I'm not sure who he's yelling at. It doesn't look like the players. He's talking to the officials. 3:34 to play here in the third quarter. 34-20. Greenville is trailing it by just 14 points.
Coach Cordell is not happy with this officiating crew, and he's actually giving it to him.
Yeah, he's standing with hands on his hips, looking at the crew, not standing with the football team, not talking to the football team. Now he's finally got the referee's attention, and he's brought the referee over to him, and they're just outside the hash marks. And Coach Cordell is explaining to the referee that, hey, this stuff's got to stop. And he is being very active and very animated with his signals. And the referee is listening, like, trying to keep from snickering and
laughing in his face.
But Coach Cordell's being very animated with the referee, which the officiating has been questionable at best. At times, there's really no need for it. I mean, Highland Park's got a fine football team.
But you know what? Let them prove it themselves. Don't take the ball game away from the Greenville Lions. And this this officiating crew comes in here. They're in awe of the whole program, and they're going to give them whatever break they can. And that's what's happened here.
Well, and that's tradition. That's part of the tradition. 34-20. Greenville down by 14. Trips to the far side. 1st and goal at the 5. Toss into the end zone, and it is dropped. Boland cannot hang on to it in the back of the end zone. Absolutely dropped the pass.
Yeah, nice pass from number 10 across the middle, a little slant pattern from Justin Ellerman. He puts it right on the numbers, right in Boland's hand, and Boland hadn't dropped a thing all night, and he did that one. There were a couple defenders between him and the line of sight from Ellerman, and that could have played a little bit of part in it, Rich.
Ellerman from the shotgun now with trips to the far side on a 2nd and goal play. Penalty markers fly. Pass is caught out of bounds. Lions were offsides that time. That's a legitimate call.
Well, it's a legitimate call, but he didn't even give him a chance to get back on the side. He was throwing the flag before they even... I mean, the guy can jump and get back on his side, but he threw the flag and blew the whistle before he even got a chance. Took it right out of the ball player's hands.
3:26 to play third quarter. Greenville trailing at 34-20. And again, I'm really impressed with how the Greenville Lions fans have traveled tonight for the Highland Park game. Rockwall Heath at home next week at T.A. Cotton Ford Stadium. Ellerman in at quarterback. Carroll standing to his left, takes the handoff and dives into the end zone and lands head first in the concrete. And Carroll is very impressed with himself.
Yeah, he's been impressed with himself this whole ball game, how tough he is. And he basically jumped up in the air, didn't even have to, all he had to do was just walk in the end zone. Here we go.
3:22 to play, 40-20 is the score. And he sprints down the sideline. Hopefully somebody's got some Prozac waiting for him or something before he hurts another one of his players.
Yeah, well, it makes good theater.
Low snap, it's down, and the kick is up. And it is good. 41-20. Greenville trailing it with 3:22 to play third quarter. We'll be back with Greenville Lions football continues in a moment. 41-20. Greenville trailing at 3:22 to play here in the third quarter. Carroll with a 3-yard touchdown run. 6 plays covering 84 yards in a minute and 27 seconds. And the third quarter has absolutely taken nearly forever to play because of all of the penalty markers that have been flying.
Well, the time of possession is obviously on the referee side right now.
Oh, indeed. Here's the approach for the kickoff from Highland Park with the wind at their back. And Heath will take it at the 8-yard line. Comes to the near side, turns at the 20, and gets out to about the 30-yard line. It'd be 1st and 10 for the Lions from their own 30-yard line.
Well, 3:15 left in the third quarter, and really the Lions were in this ball game right up until about 5 minutes ago when the referees decided to to slow this thing down, turn the tide around, and put the Scots back in control, and now they are. You can't say it any other way, Rich. For those of you at home, we're just trying to give you the accurate picture of what's happening here.
Ludford from the shotgun sends Lagone in motion to the right. Lions are moving right to left, and penalty markers fly.
Was it?
See what this is about. And the referee says dead ball foul. False start Greenville. As Coach Cordell stands with arms folded on the sideline, complimenting the referee on his high-quality flag throwing abilities.
He's probably been the best quality flag throwing ability from the whole side of the line over there.
Hey, at least the flag's clean.
You got a point. Earl just said at least the flags are clean.
Yeah.
Unlike at Terrell. Ludford from the shotgun rolling right. Pulls up, throwing it deep down the far sideline. A little holding going on. And Peter Lagone, the pass is just beyond him. Ronnie Stanton was being held. His jersey was stretched out by the Highland Park player, but no penalty marker thrown on that.
Oh no! Well, you couldn't throw a penalty on that. I mean, he was just holding the whole way down there, and couldn't throw a penalty on that.
No, and for me to, because I'm looking where the ball's going, for me to see that out of the corner of my eye because his jersey was so stretched out, that has to be pretty obvious for me to notice it. 2nd and 15 for the Lions from their own 25. Casey Ludford from the shotgun trips to the far side. Gives it to Eric Johnson. Finds a little crease on the far side. Trying to turn at the 35. And it's going to be knocked out of bounds at about the... well, they said he didn't get out of bounds.
He had 3 people knocking him out of bounds, and they said he didn't get out of bounds.
No, he didn't quite make it.
Yeah. It was Eric Johnson doing a good job off the right side, a little bit of handoff from Casey Ludford, and used his speed around the end, picks up a good grade. Marty Almanza comes in.
3rd down and about 6 for Greenville from their own 34-yard line. Ludford from the shotgun to throw again. Under pressure, now throws over the middle in the dirt at the 45-yard line.
Yeah, he had both receivers wide open down the field. Looked like Curtis Johnson was ahead of the defensive back by about 5 yards, but Casey just didn't get the ball done. I think this is time to go for it.
4th down. Well, at this point, got to go, why not? 2:20 to play, 3rd quarter. Greenville trailing at 41-20. 4th down play. Lions have a triangle stacked on the right side, and now they stack everybody over to the right side. They got 4 people. Quick pass right side to Eric Johnson. Now he throws it back to Casey, and it was not. And then there's a hit, and that'll bring out a penalty marker.
He fell down. They're saying he fell down. He just knocked him on his can is what he did.
He fell down.
We did.
He fell down.
Well, Earl says he fell down. I saw a hand go out there, and when he went down. So.
Yeah, and the coach is bringing the player back.
He's from the sideline. That's 30.
That's Alex Carroll.
Yeah, he runs off the sideline to make the call.
Yeah. I'm telling you, that kid's certifiable.
He is. I thought for a second they were going to pick it up.
And they are waving it off. So, maybe Alex Carroll, maybe they're afraid of him. If they turn him loose.
They just lost a yard on the spot. So look at
Earl said we lost a yard on the spot. They move it out to the 33-yard line. So now they're going to move it back.
They threw a flag, and somebody comes in there and talks them out of throwing the flag. It's just beyond me. I've never seen anything like it, folks.
Welcome to Highland Park.
I guess I haven't been to Highland Park enough.
No. Quick toss out to the left side. Carroll is on the run at the 15, the 10, and then knocked down at the 7-yard line.
He got blocked in the back right here, and no one even come close to throwing a flag out here.
2:01 to play, 3rd quarter. 41-20 is the score. Highland Park out in front. I think Alex Carroll's wearing some really tight underwear or something. He keeps having to mess with him or creeping up on him or something. He's the running back standing to the left of Ellington. Quick toss to the left side. And then flying into the end zone.
Just got another push in the back with no call.
He went down short of getting the ball across the end zone. Now the receiver, Will Harris, was in the end zone, but the ball did not cross the plane.
Did you see that? The tackle went out there to block the I think it was number 5, Ray Payton, come up there, and he got pushed right in the back, and they did nothing. The Greenville coaches are trying to get him. They're standing on the field. They're trying to at least get him to come over and talk to him, and they won't even look in their direction.
No, they don't. They don't have the courage. To a shame. 58 seconds to play in the first half. 41-20. Carroll gets the snap, dives face first into the end zone for the touchdown for Highland Park. 47-20. Scots.
I think if I was Coach Cordell, I would think about just taking my kids off the field and just go on home. This is ridiculous.
53 seconds to play, 3rd quarter. 47-20. Highland Park leading it. Now, this is one of those where you send the film to the UIL, to the officials.
Yeah, but they aren't going to do anything with the Highland Park officials. They ain't going to do anything. These guys are in their pocket.
Here is the kick, and it's up, and it is good. It's 48-20. Greenville trailing the Highland Park Scots here at Highlander Stadium. Greenville Lions football will continue in a moment. Welcome back to Highlander Stadium. 53 seconds to play here in the third quarter. 48-20 Highland Park leading it. Carroll with a 1-yard touchdown run. 3 plays covering 34 seconds and 2 minutes and 11 seconds. And then here comes the approach. Matt Bonanno with the kickoff. Peyton is the middleman for the Lions. Squib kick, hits at the bottom of Spigner, picks it up, across the 35, and then backpedals to the 40-yard line. So the Greenville Lions will set up shop at their own 40, going 1st and 10.
Yeah, they're afraid to kick down deep to the Lions, so they're just kicking it at Nick Spigner's ankles every time he gets, of course, the Lion gets the ball at the 40-yard line. And, of course, we've got some officiating. It'll probably be first and about 45 here shortly.
Well, they may feel comfortable with this lead.
Well,
with a 28-point lead, they may back off a little bit.
They might.
Ledford from the shotgun, trips to the near side, hands off inside, and Eric Johnson doesn't have too much of a place to go. Pretty generous spot out to the 42-yard line.
Yeah, he's getting generous now that he's just blown the whole football game. It's the guy on that side that just hasn't picked up anything, but. I think probably I'd be going deep here, Rich. 26 seconds left in the third period, 48-20, and their only hope is just to start putting it down the field.
Well, they're going to let the clock roll out because the game clock is ahead of the play clock. 10 seconds, 9, 8. They get the play off. Ledford back to pass, throwing deep down the far sideline, and it is intercepted at the 15-yard line. And they're going to mark it at the 17-yard line of Greenville. So to be 1st and 10 for Highland Park on a pass intended for Stanton. So Casey Ledford throws his second interception of the night.
And standing in the end zone down there was Peter Lagon. There wasn't anybody within 35 or 40 yards of him. But that's the end of the third with Scott's leading 48-20, Rich.
And we'll be back when Greenville Lions football continues in a moment. Casey Ledford throws his second interception of the ball game, so the defense is going to have to go to work here as we start the fourth quarter of play. And now the Scots are going to be moving from our right to left, which means they're going to be moving into the wind. John Ellerman is at quarterback. We're not sure why he replaced Webb.
Well, I think that with the score, he's a senior, Rich, and at this score, and you going into the playoffs, you want to give him some shots.
Trips to the far right for Ellerman. He's the lone setback. Back to pass, and just throws it away as he was going down.
Yeah, good pressure there from, it looks like Mark Bosby was in there and giving good pressure, and Ellerman basically just started falling down and he threw the ball.
Yeah, Marcus Bosby was coming.
Yep. 11:55 left in the fourth.
Rather had taken a sack that keep the clock rolling.
Yeah, really.
48-20, Greenville trailing it. 11:55 to play here in the fourth quarter. It's not been a pretty game on the part of the officiating crew, and not since Terrell have we seen this kind of officiating. Ellerman back to throw. Sideline pass, near side, caught, and then out of bounds. Let's see where they're going to put it down at the 46-yard line of Highland Park. Peyton with the tackle on Seth Gardner.
Yeah, Raymond was running right with him, and when he turned to make the catch, Raymond didn't turn around, didn't do anything, try to knock the ball down, and easy throw and catch right there.
Yeah, and they've had that. Highland Park has had that down. They've just that execution is just darn near perfect. Webb was doing it, and Gardner's just picking right up with it. He wants to throw again. Near side, caught, and taken out of bounds at the 45-yard line of Greenville with a reception that time is Lawson.
Yeah, good job by Marty Almanza. Good coverage on it, but they just got throw and a catch and picks up about, they're going to mark it to see if they got a first down at the 4.5-yard line of the Greenville Lions.
Referee says it's first down, so they'll move the chains.
He don't care. He just wants to get out of here and get his check.
Checks in the mail. I tell you, I was watching Pearson McIntyre there briefly, and he had his hand up in one of the Highland Park Scots linemen's face. It was all up in his face mask. I was thinking that they might get called on that, but...
Well, you know, these kids get frustrated. They get a ball game taken away from them by the referee, and you know, sometimes it just gets a little bit too much for them.
11:35, clock is rolling, 48-20, Greenville trailing it. First down play, Ellerman is the lone setback. Highland Park throws it deep, left side, incomplete. Gray was down there covering against Justin Toon.
Yeah, good pressure there by Nick Spigner was in there. Number 40, Marcus Mosby. Good job.
Brings up 2nd and 10. So obviously Highland Park not pleased with the score, and they'd like to pump up the points a little bit more.
Oh, yeah, well, they want to... And by the referees, why don't you go ahead and buy a big score here, boys?
Ellerman is the lone setback, trips to the far side, 2 receivers to the near side. Gets a good snap, throws a sharp pass over the middle.
I'll tell you what,
dropped.
Marty Almanza was lining up number 22 out there,
Lawson.
coming across the middle, William Lawson, and Marty should have put the pop on him big time.
Yep, had a free shot at him.
Marty normally doesn't step away from those pops, but he did that time.
3rd down play for Highland Park at the Greenville 44-yard line. Ellerman, quick toss near side, and a penalty marker is down at the 41-yard line. They tried to set up a pick, and the Greenville Lions wouldn't let them set it, and the line judge will not let them set it either.
Well, I think that they're going to probably call it on the Lions.
Yeah, because
they were definitely setting the pick out there. They had the inside-outside guy, and the inside guy went out and hit Ray Payton to hold him, and the guy from the outside was going to go in to get the ball on a slant, and against the Lions.
But Redwine had run into the Lion defender, and it was kind of like, okay, I'm following this receiver over here trying to get him. They ran into each other, and Redwine was kind of holding him as he was holding each other. And the official, meantime, already had the flag out. And Cordell is talking with the official over on the far side, for what that's worth. So it's a 5-yarder, and that'll be a first down, and 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Michael Thatcher in the ball game as a running back, takes the handoff, tries the right side, and gets knocked down at the 33-yard line.
Yeah, Marcus Mosby comes over from his linebacker position, defensive end, and puts a stop on it.
You know, if I were a backup running back or receiver, I don't think I'd want to be in the game against the Greenville Lions starters.
I don't think I'd want to be in there with Coach Cordell.
2nd and 8 for Highland Park at the 33-yard line, 32-yard line of Greenville. Ellerman from the shotgun wants to throw. Sideline pass, incomplete, intended for Brett Krause. And Ellerman overthrows him by a good 6, 7, 8 yards.
Yeah, Krause was just running the fly down the left-hand side, and Ellerman was going to try to drop it in there and overthrow.
10:39 to play in the ball game. 48-20. Greenville trailing it.
And we're getting the second stringers coming in down there, and the big cheers for the first stringers coming out right now.
Ellerman still working at quarterback. This is a 3rd and about an 8 play. Thatcher gets the call, and Pearson McIntyre just obliterates him at the 35. And a late flag comes in at the 25.
From our favorite referee on that side, the side judge, and we're going to see where that is. Looks like.
And he threw that a good 15 yards.
If this is against the Lions, Coach Cordell needs to think about something.
I don't think he'll pull his players off the field.
I don't think he will either. I don't either.
Still waiting on the officials to sort out what this penalty is about, or who it's even against.
Well, they're going to straighten out this whole thing right now.
Dead ball foul, personal foul, Highland Park. Dead ball foul, personal foul, Highland Park. And I'm still waiting for the second half of the other shoe to drop. That gets some of the Highland Park fans stirred up. 10:30 to play in the ball game.
They ought to know what bad officiating is.
48-20, Greenville trailing it. Of course, the Highland Park fans getting worried now.
The guy in the threw the flag over there now. He's been justified. He's been rectified.
Man, a loss of down makes it 4th down. Now they roll the clock. So Ellerman's going for it on 4th down. A little quick punt. And the Lions let it roll inside the 5-yard line. Didn't even make it inside the 5. Why Curtis Johnson did that, I'll never know. But he had indecision from the start.
We've seen that all year long. And here we go again. They're inside the 5-yard line, and it cuts down the playbook, Rich. 10:13 left in the fourth quarter. 48-20. Scott's over the Lions.
Here at Highlander Stadium, and Greenville is going to be hosting Rockwall Heath. Senior night.
Final game of the season.
Yeah, next Friday
Home
at TA
game.
Cotton Ford Stadium. Here come the Lions. Casey Ludford at quarterback. Gets a good snap. Hands off to the left side. Eric Johnson lost a couple of 3 yards.
Yeah, he lost 3 yards because Brian Bell is just afraid to block out there now, and they're just running over him.
Well, they give him a flag every time he tries to block.
I know. He's afraid to do anything, so I think we need to air this one out, Coach. Come on, air it out.
9:48. I'd try to get a first down and just try and burn the clock up if I could.
Yeah.
Ludford is standing right on the goal line. Waiting on the snap. Gets it. Takes off running with it to the near side. And is taken down at about the 8-yard line.
Yeah, he just tried to run it. That option that they've been doing all year and tried to sprint to the sidelines, and I could not run. Number 35 linebacker Brett Martin. Clock's running, 9:10 left in the fourth period, and the Lions are just trying to get out of here with a little bit of self-respect after the referees have taken it all away from them.
Well, the Lions still have their respect. It's the officials that are going to have to leave out here with their tails between their legs.
Oh, they'll go and get their big padded check and be on their way. They don't have a problem.
From the shotgun is Ludford, rolling to his left in the end zone. Throws it, caught by Peter Lagone at about the 14-yard line. Gain of about 4 on the play brings up 4th down and about 3 maybe.
Yeah, absolutely go for it. You can't punt the ball, so why not just get out there and go for it?
48-20, Greenville trailing it. 8:23 to play here in the ball game. Lions line up with triangles to either side. Ludford from the 5-yard line gets a good snap. Gets the punt off. Takes a Highland Park bounce, and the Lions will kill it at the 36-yard line. Peter Lagone will. And so Highland Park will set up shop again at the Greenville 36-yard line. Leading at 48-20 over Greenville with 8:04 to play, and I bet Highland Park comes out and will air it out.
Yep, I think they're going to come out there and just really put some big points up on the board now that they've looked bad against the Lions. I say that tongue-in-cheek, obviously.
Ellerman is at quarterback. And the Lions, they don't have a pretty good chance here. This defense working against these second stringers. Thatcher gets the handoff and goes left, and he is tackled by 3 of the Greenville Lions.
Yeah, and they're on the tackle. Has been doing a great job all night. Justin Davis, number 70, and Nick Spigner, number 41, and Daniel Cole. Spigner's 44, and Daniel Coleman was in there on the tackle too.
Yeah, Pearson McIntyre. Gain of a couple or 3 on the play brings up 2nd and a long 7 for Highland Park. 7:32 to play. 48-20 Greenville trailing it. Ellerman throws it out to the right side, and it is caught by the receiver, and a penalty marker goes down as the receiver goes down.
Yeah, same side, same second verse, same as the first.
Yeah, we'll see what this one is about. It stops the clock, by the way, with 7:19 to play, and there's 4 officials that are gathered over in front of the Greenville bench, and they're discussing what the flag is about. Gray was trying to eavesdrop and listen in, and they pushed him out. Holding against Highland Park.
Where was this guy at the beginning of the ball game?
A little late in the game there, Sparky.
And all he's doing now is just slowing the game down by his calls out there.
Yeah. Now these guys, I could see these guys on dimmed wits.
Yeah. Or dim bulbs, or
no, these guys would be on dimmed wits.
Dim wits.
They're on every Tuesday night.
Yeah, Tuesday night.
What, Earl?
What station's that?
That's on Juice 34.
Oh, dim
every
wits.
Tuesday night. Yeah, it comes on just before Greenville Lions football, and then it follows Greenville Lions football.
Well, it fits right in with the whole scheme of things next Tuesday night with the dimwits that are out there with the stripes on.
Well, actually, these guys are an insult to the dimmed wits. Handoff. Thatcher does not get the first down as he is tackled by Pearson McIntyre at the 41-yard line at Greenville. But I imagine that the dimmed wits are going to wear these guys out come Tuesday.
Probably.
Because they've got it on videotape.
Videotape.
Yeah. Digital videotape.
Yep.
And high-definition television.
High definition.
3rd down and about 16 is what Highland Park needs to get a first down. Ellerman, the backup quarterback in the game. Back to throw. Under pressure, down he goes. Jermaine Hamilton had him around the feet. Pearson McIntyre had him around the thighs.
And Mark Mosby jumped on his head. That was all part of the
4th down, yeah.
6:01 with the clock running, and the Scots are deciding.
Yeah, the best thing to do here is punt. Normally. 5:48, and the clock is rolling. 48-20 Greenville trailing it here at Highlander Stadium.
They're trying to figure out who the punter is. Looks like Bolin is going in here to be the punter.
Ross Bolin is back. Now time is going to be called. I'm not sure who time is called by. Greenville or Highland Park?
Highland Park, play clock.
Oh, play clock was running down on them because they weren't prepared to
Kick the ball.
do anything. Oh, we have to punt?
Oh, we don't have to punt.
Darn, the official didn't tell us.
Yeah.
5:34 to play in the ball game. 48-20 Greenville is trailing it here.
We can get some
at
kind of
Highlander
call
Stadium.
here and get a first down.
You notice how big their notepads are that they're using, the referee and the umpire?
Yeah, well, they got to write all this stuff down.
They have trouble seeing it.
Oh, Earl says they can't
Earl
see.
says it's a bigger pad so they can see. But pound for pound, this is the largest officiating crew we've seen this year.
Pound for pound.
Yeah.
Girth matters here. Girth matters. Well, you got to do something to spend all that money you get paid.
Highland Park is ready to punt the ball. They get a good snap. Short punt. Bounces at the 16. and then rolls down to the 10-yard line. And so Greenville will take it over 1st and 10 at their own 10.
Curtis Johnson jumps out of the way and allows it to roll another 6 yards into their territory.
5:22 to play in the ball game. Greenville is trailing at 48-20 here at Highlanders Stadium. This is their final home game of the season.
Oh, darn. They won't have their own referees after the rest of the season. I hate that. Hate it when that happens. They might get a playoff game here or two, maybe.
Yeah, stuff happens.
Stuff happens.
It could.
Could.
Casey Ledford from the shotgun standing at his 5-yard line. Gets a good snap. Hands it off left side. And Spigner, I think it was Spigner on the carry, really didn't have anywhere to go. It's pretty much like they've read the playbook now and they know what Greenville's going to do.
I think Coach Cordell is just trying to run the clock out, to tell you the truth. It looks to me like he just wants to take as much time as he can to get it out.
Yeah, but he needs to move the ball to do that because there's a lot of time left at 4:53 and the clock rolling.
I understand that.
2nd down and about 15 for the Greenville Lions, with a ball just outside their own 5-yard line. From the shotgun is Ledford, standing at the end zone. Runs left, cuts back inside, and tackled at the 11-yard line. Gets back up just past the original line of scrimmage.
That'll be 3rd and about 9.5 yards for a first down. 4:18 left in the 4th period, and Lions are lined up in a no-huddle offense, ready to run the play.
And they'll wait until the play clock starts. And hopefully they'll let it run down. 4 minutes to play in the ball game. Heath in motion. They give it to Spigner. He drives maybe to the 12-yard line. And is dropped there. Brings up 4th down with 3:46 to play. Lions need about 7 yards to get a first down.
And the Scots are bringing in their, looks like about the 3rd or 4th string to receive this punt from Casey Ledford.
Yeah, they've got one receiver that is back. That's Ryan O'Dwyer.
O'Dwyer?
O'Dwyer. He is O'Dwyer.
He's a Scot.
Official. And the Lions are going to pass it. Quick pass caught by Stanton at the 24-yard line, and it's a first down for the Greenville Lions.
Ran a slant in from the right side. They're just trying to hang on to the ball to let the clock run out, and got Casey delivered the ball on the numbers and picked up a first down.
3:06 to play in the ball game. Clock is rolling. 48-20. Greenville is trailing it. Pick up a first down there on that play. Ledford from the shotgun once again. Rolling to his right. Chunks it out near side. Penalty marker thrown at the 25-yard line. That'll stop the clock.
Yeah, that'll stop the clock.
Referee threw that flag, so I think it was the referee.
Yeah.
Was it?
It's against the line. No, the side judge threw it.
Ineligible receiver downfield against the Greenville Lions.
That's really going to affect the outcome of this ball game, Rich. You like to see that.
2:49 to play in the ball game here at Highlander Stadium. Greenville trailing at 48-20. Very interesting first half the Lions had, and we're very much in the ball game.
Yep, very much in the ball game until the Lions made it close, and then the referees took it away.
Ledford from the shotgun. Rolling to his left, being chased, and throws it away. Throws it out of bounds. That stops the clock with 2:40 to play. 48-20, Greenville trailing it.
Yeah, and Brian Bell is just absolutely afraid to make any kind of block out there because of a holding penalty, and his man is just blowing him off the line out there now.
Yeah, he's been called for probably 4 or 5 holding penalties.
Yeah,
They were tagging him every time he moved.
He's 6'5", 275, and this kid's about 100 pounds less than him. He's just running right by him because he was afraid to do anything.
I've got a target on him. Ledford rolling to the near side. Pulls up, throws, and throws it away into the Highland Park bench. That'll stop the clock. Penalty marker goes down as Highland Park is going to be called for roughing the passer. I think. Personal foul, roughing the passer. 2:35 to play in the ball game.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. We're having fun now, Rich.
Oh, yeah.
This is what we came over to see, you know. Mm-hmm. We came over to see a ball game played by 5 or 6 guys with black and white stripes.
Yep.
That's what we came to see.
Wanted to come to the zoo.
Yep, the Highland Park Zoo.
2:35 to play in the ball game. Lions get the ball moved out to about the 40-yard line of Greenville and a first down. Ledford from the shotgun. Looking to pass, got the time, throws it over the middle, caught by Stanton at the 49-yard line of Highland Park. That's enough for a first down.
Nice little throw and catch. Same play as they ran on that fourth down earlier in this series, Rich. Just a slant across the middle in case he put it right between 3 and 2.
And there. A penalty marker back at the 38. See what this flag is about. I'm trying to guess.
I'm trying to guess who it's on.
Wow. Can't imagine what it could be, but it looks like they're consulting with Greenville. 2:26 to play in the football game. Greenville trailing it. Ineligible receiver downfield, Greenville.
Is he not a wide receiver?
Not anymore, Wiley.
They're out there talking about it. Last time they declined the penalty. We'll see what they do this time. Whatever they're going to do, they're going to take forever to make the decision. That's pretty much this ball game's all about them.
2:26 to play in the ball game. 48-20, Greenville trailing it by 28 points.
Jeez, come on, guys.
In the game.
In the game. I'd say something, but there's nothing to talk about, really.
Except the
What are them Greenville Christian
officials.
School Eagles doing tomorrow?
You know what
Jim?
is really...
What do they do tomorrow? Earl wants to know who's playing tomorrow, who the Eagles are playing tomorrow. Well, they're playing Waxahachie. And actually, it's going to be an interesting football game versus this thing.
Well, you know, I really feel bad. They're trying to explain it to the Alliance receivers as if they've never played before. That, you know, okay, I know you guys are receivers and your trip's out to the near side, but one of you was ineligible. I can't remember which one of you it was, but one of you was ineligible downfield. Ledford is the lone setback. Throws it near side. Caught by Ronnie Stanton at the 40-yard line. Across the 45 to 50, and then down to the 43-yard line of Highland Park, and that is enough for a first down.
Guess what Earl's looking for?
Flag. He's looking for flag.
He's looking for the flag. Earl, you see a flag down there, Earl?
Not this time.
You know, what I'm going to do this, especially... I'm going to do this for... I'll tell you in a minute what I'm going to do this for. There's 2:04 to play. Ledford throwing deep over the middle for Heath. Penalty marker is out because the Highland Park player was all over Heath.
He just grabbed him like he did all night long, but you know what? With a minute and 57 seconds left, it doesn't make any difference, and now he's throwing the flag.
Yeah, it's a backup player.
Yeah, it's a backup player.
It's a backup player. Minute 57 to play, but at the end of the game, we're not going to do stats. I mean, we're going to go ahead and do the stats, but it's going to be a very short.
Yeah, we're going to get out of here.
Jim was on the air this morning at 5 a.m.
Yeah, we're ready to
and
get
then
out
he
of here.
did a basketball game today for A&M Commerce, which they play again tomorrow for the Disney Classic from Orlando, which he's got to do that. But he was on the air this morning at 5 a.m. on 93.5 Kick FM. He was doing the basketball game at 3, and now he's having to sit through this. And then there's more basketball tomorrow. There's trips to the near side, Twins to the far side.
Somebody's ineligible.
Ledford throws near side, caught Stanton at the 20. He's in the 10, and then caught and knocked down at the 6-yard line, and a penalty marker is thrown at the 25-yard line, and there's an ejection.
Yeah, well, this guy's mouthing right in front of Bird's face, and now they're going to throw Nathan Bird out of the game.
Yeah, it's 54. I mean, it's 25, number 25 for Highland Park. Dead ball foul, personal foul against Greenville, and there's an ejection. And of course, Highland Park's been, and they don't need to mouth. They're too good of a football team to do that.
Yep.
Matt Owen was the one that was, talking to garbage.
Yep.
So they get the first down to the 8-yard line. And so they're going to mark the foul off from there because it was after the play.
But we're going to take 5 minutes to figure out just...
Yeah, because it's going to be first and goal, but we'll have to figure out it's going to be first and goal from where.
First and goal from the 23.
Unless Highland Park declined it.
Oh, no, they're not going to decline this. It's dead ball foul. So.
Dead ball foul, personal foul, Greenville, and ejection.
Does that mean he can't play next week?
No, he'll play next week. I think they did away with that rule. The fighting, unless the fighting rule, I think is still in effect.
I don't think they called the fighting rule. That was no fight, but comes on a 22-yard pass play from Casey Ledford to Stanton. 9 plays, 90 yards in 3 minutes and 46 seconds. Lions are lining up for an onside kick here with 1:36 left in the fourth quarter at Scott Stadium. And the ball is kicked by Ruff, and it's fielded at the 48-yard line by number 86, a handsman they got in there that looks like Seth Gardner. Stood up there and made the kickoff reception, and the Scots are going to take over here with 1 minute and 34 seconds. It's going to be interesting to see what they do out here, Earl, about they're just going to kneel down. They've got Greenville's got 1 timeout, 2 timeouts left, and the Lions got 1. Scots have 1 timeout, and if the coach has got any class at all after this ball game, he's going to get out of here with the score of 48-26. Into the ball game at quarterback, got into quarterback number 6, Dutch Cruz.
With 1 minute 34 to play. Run it off to the left side. Maybe 3 yards on that play.
Looks like number 24 was carrying the ball, Brantley Smith. They've got basically the third strings in right now. Is running with 1 minute and 17 seconds left.
I mean, good grief, they have 99 players on the sideline.
Well, I think they're down to their 4th or 5th string. They're trying to decide what the play is. That's how deep they are.
Get the baton twirlers in there next.
Well, anybody that can twirl 3 batons deserves to play anything.
I would rather watch them right now.
Absolutely.
2nd and 8 play. Handoff. And Maddie takes it to about the 44-yard line of Greenville with 45 seconds to play in the game. The clock is rolling.
And the Scots, basically, like we talked about, have their 2nd string in, and they're running against, looks like Coach Cardell has tried to move some of his younger ball players in there also, give them a chance to play here in Highland Park with 29 seconds left. We're going to get a kneel down, I think.
Should.
We got 10 seconds left in the play clock, 18 seconds in the game clock.
Backs up, takes a knee, and 10 seconds will tick off.
And that's the ball game here at Highland Park.
48-26. It's one of those games where the team with the best athletes and the most class did not win.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Home team, and when you have as much power and affluence as Highland Park does, you better come in here with all your guns going, Rich, because you're not going to get out of here with a win unless you just flat take it away from them.
Yeah, and you'd have to. I don't think you even had all your guns firing. You're probably not going to do well.
Nope, not against.
Against these guys. I've never seen these guys before at any other game.
They were.
But this is too good of a football team. They don't need help.
No, they were playing against 16, 17 guys the whole ball game, and the Scots fans down here telling them good ball game as they walk off over there. So,
final score is Highland Park 48, Greenville Lions 26.